You know those neighbors you rarely see. The ones who smile politely, keep to themselves, maybe a little too quiet. Now imagine finding out one of them had human remains in their freezer, photos of corpses in his drawers, and bones stored like trophies. That was Jeffrey Dahmer. This isn't just the story of a serial killer. This is a look inside the mind of a man who lived among people, while hiding one of the most horrifying secrets in American history. Let's take you back. Jeffrey Lionel Dahmer was born on May 21, 1960, in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. From the outside, it looked like a typical Midwestern family, but things inside the home were tense. His mother struggled with mental health. His father, often absent, focused more on work than what was happening at home. As a child, Dahmer was oddly fascinated with dead animals. He'd collect roadkill and dissolve carcasses in acid. He wasn't doing this out of curiosity. It was control. It was obsession. By the time he was a teenager, Dahmer was withdrawn, isolated, and already showing signs of dangerous compulsions. But no one truly saw what was coming. In 1978, just weeks after graduating high school, Jeffrey committed his first murder. His victim, 18-year-old hitchhiker, Stephen Hicks. They had a few beers at Dahmer's house. When Stephen said he wanted to leave, Dahmer panicked. He hit him with a dumbbell and strangled him. Then he dismembered the body, dissolved parts in acid, and scattered the remains in garbage bags. He kept the skull. At 18, Jeffrey Dahmer had already crossed a line many never returned from. After the murder, Dahmer tried to suppress his urges. He joined the army, got discharged, moved in and out of his grandmother's house, but his dark desires only grew. By 1987, it started again. And this time there was no stopping him. He lured young men back to his apartment. He drugged them, killed them, dismembered them. Sometimes he kept their skulls, sometimes. He photographed their bodies in disturbing poses. And yes, sometimes, he ate parts of them. This continued for years, and no one knew. What looked like a small, quiet apartment in Milwaukee was actually a personal graveyard. When police eventually entered apartment 213, they discovered human heads in the fridge, jars of preserved organs, a 57-gallon drum filled with body parts, dozens of Polaroid photos of dismembered victims. It wasn't just murder. It was a methodical, ritualistic horror show. Dahmer wasn't just killing. He was collecting, preserving, controlling his victims, even after death. This is where it gets even more disturbing. In May 1991, 14-year-old Konarak Synthesophone escaped from Dahmer's apartment. He was drugged, disoriented, and bleeding. Neighbors called 911. But when police arrived, Dahmer calmly convinced them that the boy was his partner. They let the child go, right back into the killer's hands. That night, Konarak was murdered, and the officers who ignored the warning signs, they were suspended, but later reinstated. That moment became a haunting example of missed justice and a deadly consequence. Everything changed in July 1991. Tracy Edwards, another intended victim, managed to escape. He ran through the streets, still in handcuffs, until he found the police. He led them back to apartment 213. What they found inside was beyond anything they'd ever seen. Dahmer confessed, calmly, in full detail. 17 confirmed victims, dismemberment, cannibalism, necrophilia. He said he never wanted his victims to leave. That's why he tried to make them zombies by drilling holes in their skulls and injecting acid. The nightmare was real. In 1992, Jeffrey Dahmer was convicted of 15 murders and sentenced to 15 life terms, over 900 years behind bars. He claimed he was glad to be caught, but just 2 years later, on November 28, 1994, Dahmer was beaten to death in prison by a fellow inmate with a metal bar. Some called it justice. Others called it escape. Jeffrey Dahmer isn't remembered for how he looked, how he dressed, or how he spoke. He's remembered because he was the monster people didn't see coming. The kind of horror that lives next door. The face that smiles in the hallway. The man who blends in. His story isn't just about murder. It's about missed signs, broken systems, and the terrifying truth that evil can wear any face. If you found this story haunting, you're not alone. These are the cases that stay with us long after the headlines fade. Hit subscribe for more true crime deep dives just like this. And as always, watch your surroundings. You never really know who your neighbors are.